Welcome to another edition of Plugin Police. Today I have three rules when acquiring paid plugins or when downloading free plugins. Rule number one is you probably don't need them. Most of your stock plugins in your DAW you can do most things with. It's not that many plugins that they offer to you as a sort of snake oil and as a fix to all your problems. You cannot find in your DAW. Some paid ones have some extra advantages and sometimes can accelerate a little bit your workflow. But most of them you don't need. Now, I talk here about effect plugins. I don't talk about instruments. Of course, there are some instruments that and some creative tools in the plugin world that you cannot find in your stock plugins of your DAW. But most of the normal plugins, so effects plugins and compressors and equalizers and stuff, you can just find in your DAW. So that's the first rule of it. You probably don't need them, and I'm saying that is because. If you go down the rabbit hole of plugins, both paid and free, you get so many, and you all the time download the free versions, or you all the time buy paid versions, and you get to a point where you have so many plugins that because of so many trees you can't see the forest anymore, and that is actually very inhibiting, actually not really good for your workflow, because if you have too many things, then it's very difficult to pick the right tool and to learn also all the tools well, because you have so many. Then keep, especially as a beginner, keep your plugin library as small as you can and learn your plugins, including your stock ones. And don't, by the way, don't believe the hype, and don't believe the thing of the YouTubers and the influencers of that magic plugin that all of a sudden is gonna let you score very high on the charts, and they're gonna make your production sound awesome, because the reality is that most of the times it's not like that at all, and that actually you can better accept the fact that maybe you have still a lot to learn, or that you just suck in producing music, because there's many excellent things that are made with stock plugins, so you don't need all that. It's not that it cannot, how do you call that, make your work better by using some more quality plugins, to get the last 10% of quality out of your sound or out of your production. In that sense, paid plugins can help, and also sometimes with the workflow. But that cure, one cure for solving all your audio problems. Most of the problems are more in our production capabilities and than actually in plugins. And that wonder plugin doesn't exist. Most of it is snake oil. And to be very honest, if I start looking to both paid and both free plugins, then I think I use only 15 or 20% of the plugins that I have installed in my computer. So a lot of space is being occupied, a lot of bloatware. Your computer has too many files on it and starts getting sluggish, and too many installations, too many VSTs that not all are created equal, and some, so. You start even having instability problems, and your computer starts slowing down because you have so many plugins installed. And that goes wider also for samples. If you have too many samples, sample packs with 500,000 samples, and 50 or 60 gigabytes of wave samples is completely ludicrous to search through that. And the way of working with that is not scrolling through it, but it's just in typing the key you're looking for, or the BPM, or something like that, or an FX or a riser or something, instead of going through that whole pile of samples. And then I always go back also to many samples I went back before. So probably 90% of the sample library is also just totally unused and untouched. Now, the second rule of getting both paid and free plugins is try to get them all in the same place, because you don't want to be dealing with all these software managers, all these. That's again extra installation and software and logins and updates, and it's terrible. So if you can find everything in one place, that's the best thing you can do. Look for one provider that has more or less the plugins that you like, both paid and free, and take them from there, and avoid software centers and how do you call that? Software managers and stuff. Try to avoid that because it's actually really a big pain in the ass. And even some free plugins have software managers and need to be activated and need to constantly go online to still re-verify that you own it while it's a free version. So even in that, there's sometimes piracy measures on it. You need to be then logged into their service center and software managers. So avoid those ones also if you can, and try to have everything in one platform. Otherwise, you end up with 20 different software managers and logins and accounts on different providers, which is a real pain in the ass. Even if you need to reinstall your computer again and all your VSTs and your plugins, then you're for days busy going to different providers and websites and software centers and installing, updating, and activating. That's really a pain in the ass. So that's rule number two. And rule number 3 is, and that is really, I think, the best rule of all of them. Never, ever, ever give these guys your real email address. Just don't do it. Make yourself an extra, a second email account, and that goes included for not just the paid plugins, but also the free plugins. Besides the ones you can download directly, but the ones that you have to give an email, do not give them your email, because if you do that, then you have your email box bloated also, because they just keep on harassing you with promotions and to buy plugins, and your whole email account becomes one big spam box, and you get all the plugin providers that you got a free plugin from or a paid plugin from constantly bombing you and arresting you for deals and for buying plugins and for stuff that most of it you don't even really need. And by the way, also, who needs? You need three EECs, and that's about it. A parametric EEC, a dynamic EEC, and maybe still an EEC for a bus compressor or something. To throw in a bus compressor, and that's about all you need. If you look today, you have people that have 50 different EECs. Do you really need that? You need maybe one EEC that is very good in mastering. Like, for example, I use three different EECs or something most of the times, and then one I use for mastering. It's W495 of Pulsar that I use for mastering. And then my other EECs, I use Melda EEC. It's the M Dynamic EEC I use, and then I use still a stock EEC, and I use a free EEC also from Melda. And then I use the W495 as a mastering EEC, and that's it. That's the only EECs that I use. I don't need any more EECs. So there you go. And also, by the way, look a little bit also if you buy plugins. The CPU usage. So the load in your computer. Some plugins are really heavy on load. Isotope plugins are very, very heavy on the load. So, for example, I don't appreciate... I use them more, don't get me wrong. I have 3 element packs. I have Nectar elements, I have RX elements, and I have... what was the other elements I had? I had another plugin from them. And you have also then the RX free EEC now. But I find the Isotope and some other plugin providers, their plugins very heavy on CPU load. So before you start buying also, check out a little bit what the CPU hit is. Check with people online who have used it, because some plugins, they are very fancy-pantsy, but very high CPU loads on it. And then many times even your stock ones are even better. Or just look at least for plugins with a low CPU hit on it. But there you go. Here are my recommendations of the free rules for when you buy paid plugins or when you download free plugins. So there you go. Until the next time, stay safe, take care. I'll catch you soon.